There's a quad inside this box right here. An entire carbon fiber FPV racing frame inside this box. This is the Capish 5.5. Capish? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Can you believe it? There's an entire race quad inside this box. When I first got it and I looked at it, I had both of these boxes in the stack inside the box, and I thought, oh, new flight controller, probably some other type of FC that they want me to demo. But no, there's a quad in this box. That is cool. It is the Capish 5.5 carbon fiber race frame or freestyle. It is very simple. It has 5mm arms. It has a 225mm front to back, motor to motor setup, and it's a Stretch X. It also has 30x30 stack mounting points only, so no 20x20 on here. Some of you guys might be disappointed in that, but that is the way that this frame comes. And it comes ready to set up with the F7 flight controller that they also released. This is the Zeez 4-in-1 60 amp and F7 combo pack right here. So this is new company, designed out of Italy, which is kind of cool, different than I've seen before. And upon first look at it, it looks like it's really nice and cleanly designed. All the printing on the top of the board looks very easy to read. And you also have two different setups on here for TBS, RX, and VTX. So if you want to use any type of TBS stuff, it also has voltage selection on there, so you can do either 5.5 volt or you can do 3 volt for Spectrum receiver. So either way you go, you can do just about any type of receiver or VTX combo setup you want to do on this flight controller. It is pretty advanced looking. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the Capish 5.5 on the bench, and then we'll dive into the F7 flight controller and 60 amp ESC's BL Heli 32 on here as well. So up to 8S on this flight controller, kind of crazy. We'll do some weigh-ins as well, and I'll show you how much things weigh. And after that, I'll give you my final opinion on this new company, Zeez Design. Here we go. All right, guys, there is the box for the Capish 5.5 from Zeez. Still can't believe there's an entire race quad inside this box with the hardware, and it doesn't seem like the arms would fit the length of this box, but let's go ahead and open it up for you. Zeez Design top and the carbon arms, and the carbon looks pretty decent. Both have rubber bands on them, so just go ahead and take those off. 3 points for mounting motor, so you'll save a little bit of weight just taking one piece of that hardware off. Those look pretty good. We have all 4 arms right there, and we have a hardware bag, 4-post standoff, pretty simple. We have M3 hardware in there, and what's nice about this is it is all recessed hardware as well, so they do some countersunk stuff here. We've got some inserts. It looks like the bottom plate, the bottom and middle plates here are 2mm. So a lot of frames out there are usually 1.5, and it's nice that this is just a little beefier. And then the last thing we have here is the sidewalls for your camera, and it has multiple mounting points here for your camera, which is nice. So those will stick into these holes here in the front and to the very top. And this is the top plate, so go in through here and down through the bottom. Looks like this might stick off the front just a little bit there, but look at all the mounting holes. You can go crazy. Most likely you'll mount it to that center point right there. Just about done with this entire build. So you could drop in your 30x30 flight controller here. You also have access to the mount points, which is nice. And these are also sort of, looks like they are countersunk style screws that go through there. Pretty sweet. And then we have our top plate, just goes over top like this. So that is your Capish 5.5 Stretch X 225mm, 5mm carbon arms. Looks like beveled edges on here. 3-post, 3-bolt pattern for the motor mounting, and plenty of space up front for mounting your micro style cameras. So on the scale altogether, let's see what it weighs. 76 grams, not bad. Let's go ahead and check out the F7 flight controller. Okay, my friends, we're gonna go ahead and check out the Zeez F7 and the 60 amp ESC via Heli 32 setup we have here. So if you're trying to organize your ESCs, make sure you're not trying to use just BL Heli configurator because it won't work. You'll have to use BL Heli 32. Looking pretty nice here. I want to check out this ESC setup first. Really nice, high quality looking chips on here. It looks like it has a little bit of conformal coating on here. It looks like we already have dampening grommets in here on each corner, which is nice. And it's clearly labeled positive and negative here. So just above that will be your flight controller, and it looks like it will appear to be going this direction. Looks something like that. And this also looks really nicely printed. The quality looks to be kind of A+ quality as far as all the chips, the layout, and the printing and everything. Let's go ahead and take a little closer look at this FC. So right away, we have some pretty interesting things going on here. It is sort of a different layout than I've seen other companies do for their flight controllers. Now, right away, we have these two spots here, and one is for your VTX. If you decide to put TBS on here, you can put a TBS VTX here, and you can solder it directly down to these using the pins that came in the box. You have some pins already set up in the box here for soldering up to your VTX or your TBS receiver on this side. Now, this flight controller does have 6 UARTs on here, so you can kind of go crazy with all the different types of accessories that you can put on here. You can also do camera control, which is kind of cool. Some of you guys might not have got into that yet, but it's very nice to be able to control the settings in your camera using your sticks from Betaflight inside your goggles. Pretty neat option. But we also have UART2 there, TX and RX. We have ground VRX there, and over here, designed in Italy, which is really nice. The direction of travel, the front of the flight controller. So this will be the rear and the front there, obviously. 30x30 mountain options. And we have down here the setup for the VTX. So if you're using TBS Nano, it'll perfectly fit over top of this spot right here and solder into place, which is cool. So we have the U3 there, video out, ground, and VTX there, the video VTX. And you have these two spots on here, which if you look a little bit closer, they can be bridged for 5 volt or VBAT. So you have VBAT on this side for the full voltage from the battery terminals coming down up from your ESCs, or you can do 5 volt VTX. So depending on if you have a full voltage range VTX, you can run full voltage range or 5 volt. So you don't want to fry your VTX, obviously. So you want to make sure you select one of those two, or otherwise this setup won't fire up. So same thing on this side for your RX. You can come over here and you can select 3.3 right there, or you can do 5 volt. So bridge these two on this side for 3 and the bottom two right here for 5 volt. And then we have camera control up here, which is really nice. And you can turn that on and off inside Betaflight. And then our top rail up here is another 5 volt where camera in, VBAT, and this is UART 6 for your RX if you do an external RX not using this tab right here, which is kind of cool. And we have a USB-C Betaflight USB connector here, which is fairly modern. JST connectors on the very bottom right here are for your LEDs. So when you're ready for plugging in your LEDs, they just simply plug in and they go out on the arms of your quad, which is really cool. So now you have all your LEDs in here and pretty simple to plug in. Now you're ready to go ahead and build up your stack by using these little tiny standoff. These are kind of cool because they are M3, they are threaded on the bottom, and you have these 4 top anodized aluminum sort of little tiny nuts there. We're gonna go ahead, put these 4 through, and you also get 4 extras of these inside the Capish 5.5 frame kit. So they'll come up from the bottom, they'll screw into these bottom posts here, and that will mount your ESC and your stack to the drone racing frame. So we're gonna go ahead now and take these other 4 individual standoffs, and we're just gonna screw those onto this part of the ESC. And the cool thing is that we've already got our 4 posts here and grommets ready to go. It's kind of nice that they put those in, because those are kind of a pain to put in sometimes if you're doing it with your fingers. And now that slides right on the top there. And before you put that on, you can go ahead and plug in this harness. Looks like pins down there. But let's go ahead, once we get these nuts on here, let's go ahead and put it on the scale, see what all this weighs together. We'll also put the XT60 connector on there with the 12 gauge wire and one of the capacitors. Those are 35 volt capacitors. So we'll go ahead and set the stack on there first with the LEDs, see what we get. 37 grams, that's not bad. Now with the XT60 and the 12 gauge wire, 49, and one of the capacitors, just under 50 grams. That's awesome. But I think overall it looks like a pretty good stack setup. It looks like a high quality design, and the QC on this looks to be pretty high. So I think they got a pretty nice release right out of the gate. So you're probably going to see a lot more stuff coming out from Zeez design because it looks like we're leveling up on quality here for the foreseeable future. And I'm interested to see more of their frames coming up as well. So Zeez, if you're listening, send me some more stuff. I'd like to check it out and show the channel. But thanks again for checking out this demo of the Zeez design flight controller and the Capish 5.5, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.